We are live.
What?
Yay.
What's up, guys?
What does that mean?
Hello, everybody. Hello, friends,
Friends,
Hello,
family,
humans,
homeboys, homegirls,
skillets.
skillets.
fellow humans. I am a human as well.
What's a skillet?
We are all humans.
Homegirl.
Let us
Skillet.
do human things.
David said hola. Hello, David.
What's up, David? Oh, there we go. My hair look okay?
Your hair looks always good, buddy.
Not as good as yours, Slick Rick.
I know.
You do have pretty good hair, Jonathan.
Thanks, man. I like my new hairstyle.
Which one?
My new one. I haven't had this one ever.
Oh, I live by the saying, you don't prune a dead tree.
Ben's hair's looking good. Andre's on. Darklighter. What's up?
Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Yeah. So, what's the topics for tonight, guys?
Everything.
Everything.
So we're going to talk about tournament.
Winning the gold.
Huh?
Anything or 40K related?
Yeah. That's what I was using the words.
For the first 30 minutes, we're going to stay on topic.
30 minutes on topic, and then there'll be lots of words afterwards.
We're gonna shoot for 35 minutes today, guys. We're gonna
35. Yes. Well, we have good topics today. So we're going to talk about tournament slow playing, and we're going to actually get a little narrative going with everybody to see what resolutions you guys think that you can do to stop tournament slow play for people taking advantage of it. We're also going to talk about the new. What do you got there, TJ?
Huh?
Are you holding?
Oh, nothing. I don't got anything.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the new Custodes that just came out from the Forge World, and then which is really exciting. Which they're giving us test rules to even play with them, and then report back to how they play, basically. And we're also going to discuss a few other things that were good high points. Let me pull it up here. Have a whole list.
Let's keep the last thing on the high point. Let's not talk about it until it's the last thing. So we can finish off on a good note.
Are you talking about the one thing?
Yeah, the one thing.
You left for the one thing.
What do you mean I left for the one thing?
You did.
I think I was on for the one thing. I rebooted real quick.
No, you missed it. I talked about Raw.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
I don't know. Well, let's leave it for last so it can be a surprise for me.
It's gonna be a surprise for you and everyone else.
There'll be two surprises then. We'll talk about the really good thing that TJ knows, and then we'll talk about the other good thing. So we'll finish on two good notes.
Nice.
Yes.
So let's start off with slow play.
Yep. So tournament slow playing. I was reading an article.
Hang on a second. Wait.
Saved it. So you okay?
Oh, it's slow playing you.
Oh, that was good. You did slow play me. So
That's so stupid. I don't know why I did that.
So what does that model do again?
What are his rules? Are you
What
sure
are
it was
the
6-inch movement? Can you look that up for me?
you guys slow playing me?
No, we're fast playing you.
Oh, playing speedball.
What, sports ball?
Football with sports points. Hey, sports points.
I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, especially when they do the ball kick.
I've actually got a handful of sports points myself.
Do you?
Little do you know.
Right. So we're not on topic. Anyway,
Okay, we haven't spent any time on topic yet today.
So slow playing.
so slow playing.
What does the article say?
All right. So when I was reading the article, they were stating, basically maybe having some kind of like timer, having a chess clock, something like that, where people can have a certain amount of time in their turn, so everybody gets around. Now, Phil, the Glacial Geek, brought up. Matter of fact, put that in the chat. So Phil with the Glacial Geek, he brought up a really good point. Because what if you play an army that's, let's say, Custodes, and you have 19 models? for your 2,000 points, opposed to someone who's playing orcs and they have 250 models. Now, the thing is the guy with 19 models is going to have a lot more time to think about his turn, do his turn, and like, let's say there's not even a psychic phase. That's a whole nother phase that he's skipping, that he gets to do more things, move, double check, things like that, and shoot and think, opposed to the guy who's moving 250 models, and he's going to be rushing everything because he's moving so many models. So, that was the argument with having fair amount of time. So, Felipe, you had brought up a good point. What was it?
Well, it's like, what if I'm playing that orc army with 250 models? Okay, if I can grab as many more objectives than he can, and the mission is the objectives, I shove all these figures up the table as fast as I can. Go now. You deal with having to remove 250 models off of 4 objectives while you only have 1 or 2. It's gonna be it's gonna be a no-brainer for him what he's got to do. He's just got to flood the table. Honestly, it does not take very long to move a lot of figures. I've played games where every tournament has been on a clock, on a timer, and I've played where it's both players have an hour to play total, or both players have 10 minutes to get their turn done. So, and then they hit the button, it goes to the other person. They got their 10 minutes, or starts their time.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And while having 20 models, when you move them up to shoot, you still are going to burn quite a bit of time resolving, okay, I need to shoot these guys and those guys, and he's got to remove that, and it's all on your clock.
Yeah.
Not his.
That's a good point, but you're talking about how you can finish out your turn with 250 orcs. I've actually been on that playing end where I had 120 Typhus zombies back in 7th edition, and I wasn't trying to slow play with the guy, but the games ended up in round 3 usually for me, because once I get them into combat, you know how long combat takes. You got 2 rounds of combat now on each turn, and they're not going to eat through my 20-man squads of zombies at a time, or 30-man, whatever it was, and they're not, they were fearless, so there was nothing happening. They were just going to keep eating into the squads, and it always went to turn 3 for me. And it wasn't from a slow play. It was just because of the amount of models I had, the amount of combat, and I didn't have shooting even. That's even with almost a whole shooting phase gone, because I had Mauler Fiends, Typhus. Pretty much I had one thing that had like a pistol, and something else had 1 gun, so I didn't even have a shooting phase, and it still took that long.
Okay, so David brings up a good point that he says if they went back to deploy first, ghost first, you could definitely maybe see smaller builds coming back because you'd want less drops.
That's true. Or you could see, a lot of transports that have a ton of models inside, but at the same time, that it would help to cut it down. Or you might see larger blobs instead of multiple, 5-man blobs.
Darklighter brought up a point. He goes, he's used to playing 2K games for fun, and he gets them done to 2 and 2.5 hours. The deal when you're playing a tournament, though, is if you're playing on the top tables, or if you're playing, the person you're playing usually, they're there to try to win the game. So they're a lot more, usually for their people take a little bit more time when they move, and they're a little more strategic, and your deployment usually takes on a little bit longer because you're trying to position your models to try to, correspond to what they're doing. So if they have a heavy deep strike army, you're trying to deploy your models out so you can kind of build a circle or a wedge that to where they can deep strike it only in certain areas. They can't get into your back lines. So it becomes deployment, I think, with what I've noticed is for fun games when we play, and deployment's usually it's not as big to me. I don't really care. But when I play in the tournament scene, like when we played in LVO, I really concentrated on what they had in their army. So I tried to deploy against it to try to prevent them from deep striking. Or if I knew they were going to deep strike and have an assault turn 1, I was trying to put a bubble in there to where they couldn't consolidate in the next unit, or it would block them from, just there's certain aspects and stuff when you deploy in a tournament scene than when you deploy in a friendly type game, because usually in friendly games, I don't know about for you, Jonathan or Ben or Felipe, usually friendly games, I'm not as big on my deployment that I would be as in a tournament where I'm trying to block certain things.
Yeah, it's more like I'm going to go here. Oh, this seems neat to go here, you know, or I'm on an objective here.
Yeah.
It's not really thought out. And like you said, to piggyback on you got to really think about stuff is when you're playing, you're going to think a lot more about like, what am I going to shoot at? Target priorities, stuff like that. If I move here, you know, because a lot of times your opponent is the one not going to let you go back if you forgot to shoot those 5 last cannons. You know what I mean? That's if you're in a new phase and you're out of the shooting phase and you've declared the new phase. I mean, it's up to them, but 9 times out of 10, I've forgotten something and an opponent didn't let me go back. Now, sometimes I have had let opponent come back and I let him do the same thing, so we kind of return the favor of a mistake because they're going to be made. Yep. But you know, most of the time in a tournament, people play for keepsies. So
also another thing, when you deployment, sometimes you want to put the first model on the field so you can push back his scouts, push back his nurglings, so they can't deploy so far up that they're cutting you back further, or they're trying to cut off possible areas that you can deep strike into by putting those scouts out there. Now you put your front unit forward. He's pushed further back with his scouts. Now you got a little bit more breathing space for your deep strike.
Yeah. Just like David points out, board control is very huge. So I think that's a big change between friendly play and tournament play, which makes the games take a lot longer.
It's true to have, you know, to deploy stuff, but I found during my tournament play, I had so many things that deep struck, and that worked out for me huge because, you know, I would put the Sorcerer, Abaddon, each a Blitz squad into Deep Strike, and that gave me almost like 5 or 6 spots to see where he's going.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I can counter deploy my important stuff that was going on the board against his. So it goes hand in hand, though. You know, getting board control is important, but also seeing what your opponent's doing is important.
And to be honest, too, I think when people build their list for tournament play, too, you're building a very alpha or beta strike list to where you want to get that big hit on your first turn. So in doing that, it makes that first turn a lot longer. Because I know in fun games, when I play fun games, I'm not really too concerned about an alpha strike. You know, I'm more, you know, we're just going to kind of, we don't have those units that we have to destroy or whatever, you know, that we have to get on the board or we have to do certain things with. Yeah, it's fun when it happens, but it's not your main priority. While in tournament play, you're setting up for that first turn and you're trying to get as many points as you can or eliminate as much of the big stuff as they can that first turn. So, I mean, it's 2 different spectrums, I think, of gameplay. And on the tournament scene, I think a lot of times what we have a lot of problems with, I think, on the slow play issue is that I really feel that some people bring blob armies or tournament lists that they look up and they don't really know how it plays. So they're not really playing it to the T that it should be played to, just for the fact they don't know the army well enough. So in their mind, they're taking a little longer. They're trying to get something off while, you know, and then also I think when you see those large armies, if you're going to bring a large army for the sportsmanship portion of it, you need to have either like movement trays or you need to know your rules hands down. You need to be set and ready to go so you can have your army on the table and move it very quickly, still doing it strategically wise, but to give your opponent the best gameplay. So if you're going to play like 250 orcs, either you're going to set them up in a giant blob and just kind of push them, or you should have some movement trays up in the front to try to get the spread out or whatever, and then like kind of move everything behind it or something, you know. And I think, you know, that speeds up the game too as well. But then, of course, with the meta too, I think the other problem is the meta. Horde armies and a lot of model counts and more shots and more things are leading towards longer games, especially on the tournament scene. You want more shots. You want more bodies. You want more attacks. You know, you want a 40 blob of cultists, and you want to double their attacks and give them an extra attack. So instead of rolling 40 dice, you're rolling now 80 dice, you know, or you're shooting twice. So you're rolling, you know, you're rolling what, 40, and then you're rolling another 40 after the shooting phase after you shoot them again. So it's a little bit different than, you know, I think what we saw in 7th edition, where 7th edition was a lot of alpha strike and big things taking out little things.
I guess Ben wants to say something.
Well, I want to do a caveat off of what TJ had said. That's for you, Jonathan. I just wanted to caveat, piggyback, jump right on. he mentioned, slow playing, but like not maybe intentionally, just not knowing your rules very well, trying to figure out what you're trying to do spur of the moment. And I can say that Jonathan knows I used to do that really bad when I was getting to know the game, when I was learning, and it made him crazy. And I didn't understand how long it was taking. But once I started to try and play in a competitive mindset, and I started to have to think about what I was doing ahead of time. Once I had my rules down, once I knew exactly what weapon profiles I was bringing, once I kind of knew what my strategy was in the first place, that cut out a lot of that excess time I was taking for my turns. And admittedly, they were way, way, way too long. And if I had done that in a tournament, I would have absolutely deserved to be called out for slow playing because it would have been really bad. And I had one player that was like that at LVO, and I was trying to be patient, but he would kind of just sit there and just try and figure out what he was going to do. And frankly, he didn't have a whole lot of options. So it was kind of like, man, like make it happen. Let's go. But there was another aspect that really kind of sucked, which was he had these big, beautiful models. He actually had Stormcast Eternals as that were stand-ins for Sanguinary Guard. And they were huge and they were ridiculous and they were really cool. And like, I mean, if I was worried about getting line of sight on these models, I mean, they were freaking enormous, so it would have been no problem. But he dropped them right in my face, and he mentioned something, which was they're so large and the wingspan was huge, like, so he couldn't really keep them within that 2-inch coherency with their bases. And the other problem he ran into was they were always falling over, and he had to like stand them up, and it was just back and forth, and it was taking him a really long time to move, and it kind of wasn't his fault, but it kind of could have been maybe prepared a little bit better. And it wasn't one of those things that was really intentional, but it was one of those things that was kind of like, you should know your army better when you're coming to a tournament. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think
Darklighter has a good point. He said to help combat the slow play, to have players start taking victory point penalties the longer time they set and play their turn.
But where does that come into? All right, I've got a Custodes army, and I move 3 units, and I shoot 3 units, and now I just hunker down versus an orc player who now he's got a freaking stumble, or even the guy who was playing those Blood Angels with the really cool models. Is he penalized now because they keep falling over? He made an army he wanted to make, and it was absolutely beautiful, but it hurt him because it took him a lot longer to move his models because of it. And I mean, like, is it really going to cost like victory points? Like, this is, I think one of the problems with this is it's really hard to set a standard that's going to fit across the board.
Or command points.
Well, maybe not command points.
But what if you don't have any command points?
Yeah, I think another possibility is in a tournament scene. It's a lot on points, right? So if you have kind of a scale, maybe that instead of first turn, second turn, you get maybe half the points you get in the third and fourth turn, or the fifth turn, or the sixth turn. So as you go up on like the maximum points, let's say you can earn for the primary and secondary objectives is 3 points for both of them all together on the first turn and second turn, right? But then in that third and fourth turn, you're able to earn 5. So by kind of doing like an escalation to where like the later on you get, the more victory points you get, maybe that could also help the flow of the game too, because then people are going to look at it and say, in order for me to win, even though I could win all 6 of my games and I could go 6-0, but if I only get to turn 2 or 3, I'm only going to manage to get maybe 12 victory points. But if I can get to turns 5 or 6, then I can buff that up to like 22 or 23.
That's
and more max victory points. And that way people will look at that and they'll look at their army list and say, I need to build an army that can play in 2.5 hours or 2 hours and get to turn 5 or get to turn 6.
No, I really like that idea, but the problem is if your opponent's winning and they know that you need to get to turn 4 in order to generate enough points to beat them, and then they just hang on to their last turn and just slow it down, like we're right back in the same place we were.
Well, that's what he was saying though, is you get more points that goes to your overall score. So that just means if he wins, he only got 12 points. You know what I mean? Opposed to someone who played out and could have gotten 30 or even gotten 25 points and still lost, but they still got 25 points.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
That's what he's getting at.
Yeah, so you're going to want to try to get deeper in the game. You're going to want to try to get to turn 4 or turn 5. Or you're going to try to annihilate them really quickly and get them off the board and so you can get the rest of the victory points.
Yeah. But what Ben was saying here, it's like, okay, I know if I go to turn 5 and turn 6, I'm going to lose this game. I don't have enough models to outlast him, attrition him. But I can win this game with a lower victory points early in the game if I sandbag him out. So would you not get the points and lose, not get as many points and lose because you're going to lose it towards the end anyway, or win and still not get as many points?
Yeah, but what counts greater? A win? It's all a point-based system, right?
Well, at least by LVO standard, a win is still going to trump a loser no matter how many victory points, how strong their strength of schedule is, unless they both have the equal number of wins and losses.
Oh, it's very true, but then if you're playing a small army and you're both playing a small army and you're stalling, eventually the other player is going to realize what you're doing, and possibility that it, especially on top players or top tables or people playing, eventually that's going to cause a problem because they will call over a judge. They'll be like, this guy spent the last 40 minutes moving 6 models, And
yeah, and that's
the judge comes over and makes a ruling, it may not be in the favor of the other person. Because, and I think people will realize that, you're not going to be a dick,
Well,
I don't know.
I like some of the stuff they're doing, though. They're doing good things, and I do know that we're discussing about the slow playing, which is one of the biggest hot topics for the tournament scene right now. But they're doing really good things. I think the pulling models that aren't painted or based,
yep,
that's nice.
Yes,
that's showing that they're the people who did take their time to model their models and take the time to do everything, opposed to the guy who's sitting in his room frantically building the last bit to make sure he keeps refreshing that meta page, and he's like, is it changed? Is it changed? Oh, scouts. And now he has to build a 5-man of scouts, you know what I mean? So that's for you, Ben. And so, it's just...
Anything last minute? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. I'm talking about scouts. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
But the whole thing of going there and creating a nice, beautiful army that looks good on the tabletop. Now don't get me wrong. There was people who took advantage of that, and there were 3 colors on the model and based. So there are people who did take advantage of that, but still they were still forced to put some paint on model.
Yeah.
So I like that. That was nice. And the escalation of the psychic smites, those were good.
Yes. That's really cool. I thought that was a great addition.
It didn't work for me. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
I couldn't get higher, and I'm like, you're doing that thing, right? He's like, oh, yeah, I'll just keep rolling better. I was like, yeah, you are.
It must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, David brought up a good point. At the end of the game, you saw the same thing, but you then divided by the fraction of, let's say 5. Because you should play 5 turns. So, yeah, you could get 14 victory points. You divide it by 5, and next thing you know, you have, 3? You earn 3 points for the game. You got to win, but you earn 3 victory points. That's not going to help you too much. Win's a win, but at the same time, you get 3 victory points. It's not going to help you much. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to do.
Budgeting that time is so key, though. Maybe the way that you solve it is that the turn, if the game is going to hard end, dice are hard put down at a certain time, right? What if turn 1 ends at a certain time? What if turn 2 ends at a certain time? What if turn 3 ends at a certain time? And then you've got 15 minutes before your half of the turn is up. That's an even amount of time for each player. Yeah, it sucks if you've got a crap load of orcs versus custodes, and I think that'll influence the meta. But at that point, you're guaranteed. Well, you're pretty likely to get all of your turns in.
Or you do what War Machine does.
Well, that's exactly what Ben just said is what War Machine does.
Yeah, because War Machine, basically, if the game's 2.5 hours, you have 1 hour and 15 minutes, and your opponent has 1 hour and 15 minutes. Once your time's up, You're done.
And there's two versions of clock for them. One version, which is like you said, you got your hour 15 minutes, and you're burning it on your turn. You hit the button, it stops it, and starts his. The other way is they do a 10-minute turn. You get 10 minutes to do, and then you hit the button. If you're hopefully done before that, 10 minutes clicks, and you're not done. Guess what? It's your opponent's turn.
Oh, now imagine that. Could you imagine that though? Because so I'm assuming once one guy runs out of time, the other guy still gets to play.
Right.
His turn, his time, right?
In War Machine, when you run out of time before your opponent wins. Period. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
For the clock, for your 1 hour 15 minutes, you run out of time. Guess what? You lost. Your opponent won.
Oh, so you have to complete the game before the time is up.
Now, there's also timed turns. Timed turns is, at least in War Machine, 10-minute turn. You go through your 10 minutes. Clock hits at 10. It's your opponent's turn. And he plays his turn. He's got his 10 minutes. If he runs out of time, it's your turn now. Now, if you can obviously end your turn before the 10 minutes. They do give you play that because sometimes some things get really complex. You try to do something, and you give you like 1 5-minute extension that you can use the entire game. So my 10 minutes hit, I can use my extra 5 minutes, and that's it. I can't use the extra 5 minutes anymore.
Man. So Father Gabe actually brought up a really good point. So exactly how would somebody be penalized for their slow play? Because, unless somebody's watching them constantly, which, they don't have the bodies to watch all those tables, 500 plus people. And, to watch all the games, you can't really penalize. And you never know. You can get in an argument with somebody because slow playing can mean something different to somebody else.
And that's absolutely true. Yeah. And then at that point, if you're arguing semantics while you're trying to play, this tournament game, you're wasting each other's time.
Yeah.
And theoretically, I mean, if you're going to complain about your opponent wasting time on his turn, now you're making him waste more of his turn. I mean,
also too, I think it's also the meta we're currently in right now, because Chaos is kind of awesome and so is Eldar, but they are about to drop 3 different Xenos codexes. So in 3 months, that meta of the Love Letter Bomb or Cultist Bomb or spamming Guardians and doing all the other stuff and the Yanari stuff, in 3 months we may be sitting here having a totally different discussion on man, the games are going by really quick because we have giant units back on the table now. Because you don't know what the meta is going to bring with the next 3 codexes. So I mean that's just food for thought too. It's like we've got to this part of the meta and that's where we're at right now. But with 3 new codexes dropping, especially Necrons, which are hugely powerful and always have been, you have Dark Eldar, and then you have Tau. Are Tau going to come back to the light where they can just gun down anything, and their shooting phase is extremely, extraordinarily good? And Necrons are just going to be harder than heck to kill, So it's one of those things, too. It's just the meta right now is you do want bulk shots, large, hard-hitting units first turn, and then you want board control. But we don't know what the meta is going to do and how is it going to change with the next 3 codexes.
Yeah, I mean, all that las cannon spam, that's not going to do anything on a crap load of Immortals.
Yeah.
They're just going to jump back up the next turn. Yeah. I mean, if you had just waves and waves of Immortals, I don't
want to talk about Necrons.
Huh?
So
I don't want to talk about Necrons right now.
Yeah, and then it's also true.
We'll talk about Tau. I'm all about talking Tau.
But no,
I think we should talk about Tau.
I like the fact that the community is raising up and talking about slow play and other things like that. So I think it puts it in the forefront of everyone's mind if you're going to tournaments. Because if you play in the competitive scene, this is a discussion you've had, with your friends or thinking about it and you're building your army lists and stuff. You thought about it too, that, I know probably a lot of those top players that maybe didn't make it to the finals have now looked at their lists and be like, dang, I can't get 3 turns in and play, I am not going to make it to that championship round if I only get 3 turns in,
That's true.
Because, and then also there's just a lot of stuff I think that brought up the fact on that slow playing was happening. And I think it's good for the community that everyone's talked about it. And people are trying to think of ways, especially tournament people are trying to figure out ways to kind of fix it, or try to maybe keep a better handle on it.
Yeah. Well, guys, we appreciate everyone who participated in that small narrative of talking about how to handle that. So what else is on the docket, fellas? We have some other good stuff.
Forge World?
Yep.
The FAQ?
Yep.
Yeah.
We do.
What is this Forge World you speak of?
Where they produce really beautiful looking models. Beautiful. Can't help it, but they're beautiful. So, yeah, so GW today dropped, of course, the FAQ for Adeptus Custodes. I'm not seeing really a lot that on the FAQ that wasn't kind of self-explanatory, to be honest with you. The coolest thing is they dropped the Forge World units. So the 2 flyers, you know,
Well,
and then they dropped the
2 hovers, right? The hover tanks.
Yeah, the hover tanks, you know.
Yeah.
I call them flyers now because now with the keyword of fly, it's just completely different now. It's not like you have a flyer and then you have fly, you know. Everyone's got the kind of that keyword now. So, I don't know. I just think about flyers and hover tanks kind of all the same now when I'm trying to destroy them. So, but no, I mean, the cool thing is the Dreadnoughts is they only have rules right now for the one with the Guardian Spear. And then, you know, it's power, you know, the Guardian Fist and power claws. And then they have another one out that there's actually not a model out for it, but the equipping of it kind of looks very similar to what a normal Contemptor Dreadnought. They have this like las talent or something like that, which is basically 2d3 shots of las cannons, but it only does d3 damage. So it's basically you get a Forge World model like the Forge World Contemptor, stick like a las cannon on it and give it a power fist, and next thing you know, you got the Forge World. You know, the one that they're wanting you to play test. The only one I don't like of the fact is they don't have the one with the shield and the sword, which is actually probably my favorite Custodes model, especially for the Contemptor Dreadnought. And they do not have the large. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's the double-sized Dreadnought that's twice the size as almost the Contemptor with the really big missile racks and shoulder pads. So I think it's cool, and they want us to all play test it and give feedback on how we think the rules are working and if they're too high in point cost or whatever. So when they release the Imperial Armor book and they have them in there, that it'll be, you know, it'll be a good addition, I think, to the 40K universe.
So Father Gabe had a good point. He said players and TOs need to be careful that those rules are experimental, and we know at least one player will show up expecting to play. That is a good point because they are experimental, which one is great, because if you go back at the old experimental rules, remember the old one you can play and it had experimental, which meant that I feel like they just meant that as you can play if your opponent lets you play it, opposed to now the experimental is actually experimental, and they have a whole thing at the top of that list about how to report it, how it plays, so they want you to be a part of it. I feel like they're still working in such a great thing to bring all the community back together and take our inputs, you know. Yeah, see, Father Gabe said Forge World asking for the community to give feedback is freaking huge. It's huge.
Yep.
It's massive because they've always been on their own island of not caring what everyone else said.
Yep.
And now they're caring so much that they're just as involved as, I know Forge World is GW essentially sister company, if not the same. And you know, they're doing the same kind of care thing, which is fantastic. You're listening to the people who play the game and the models, you know.
I've seen the whole going to the community to basically beta test or play test your new rules, and I've seen it go both ways. I've seen it go where it actually gets through the testing done right, but I have seen so many times also the complete opposite, to where the testing wasn't quality testing. It was just a flood of just, oh, this is too much of that, with no real basis behind it. And whoever's in charge of wading through all this feedback from the community has to be able to pick out the difference between fake testing, if you will. I'll call it fake testing, but just this is what should, you know, math hammered out, but it's not actually put out on the table that way, versus, hey, this guy actually did put it on the table. Because I have seen both of it happen, and I've seen rules go really well, and I've seen rules go totally to shit. It's like, how the hell did that extremely overpowered model make it into the game the way it is? There's no way it should have ever been made into the game that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with David. It sucks a spear guy cannot take a heavy flamer, but I think I would just, if I was going to play test it, it'd probably be something you just put in there and just do it. You know, you give them the heavy flamers and just do for the point cost. So I think, but it does kind of suck that option wasn't there. I read that today and I read it like 3 times and I was like, wait a minute, I can't take the heavy flamers. This sucks. But Colonel 26, hey guys, first time live video watching y'all. Well, appreciate it, Colonel. Good to have you here.
Welcome aboard.
That was good.
That's not how you do it.
Good salute.
But no, I think it's cool that, yeah, I think the new direction GW is going with just asking us for feedback and getting good feedback. I know they probably already beta tested and played these units on the table, you know, with probably the same beta testers that played 8th edition would be my guess. But, you know, it's good that they are wanting our feedback. So that's a positive light considering what we've been dealing with for the past 9-10 years. So
it's definitely a lot better for even. I started in 5th edition, and I always felt like, you know, it's a company, we're buying their models, that's it. You know, now it feels like they're coming back. You have the Warhammer community, which is huge. You know, there's so many things that are just happening, and all the leaks that come from them, like they're fun leaks, they're not just like, you know, all this other stuff. So it just, I think overall they're in such a good direction of the choices they're making. Plus, you know, like Felipe, like you were saying, yeah, quality testing, crap testing, and like TJ was saying, there's people who have already probably play tested, but they're probably going to just take all the data, all the input, and to see, okay, what was the scenario of this game? Were they just playing 500 points just to see what it did? Or were they playing 2,000 points, played all the rounds, you know, whatever, to get what it was? So I think that's part of the reporting, so they have an idea, you know, from quick games to match play to open play, narrative play, and they take all these aspects, and I'm sure they all work it out to help get the points across.
Yep. Very cool.
So.
Oh, Father Gabe's going to dust off his carrier. That's pretty cool. I hope it goes well for you, Gabe. That is a cool model. Should I get up for it?
All right. So coming back to LVO, there was a really cool news. So the winner of LVO, right? Alex Fennell, right? Alex Fennell. He actually, you know, people watched the last game and everything like that. There was a huge outburst because of his sportsmanship, because he had really good sportsmanship of what was going on. And so apparently a guy named Mark Merrill, who was a co-founder of Riot Games, who made the League of Legends games, which is huge, right? Everybody knows League of Legends. He watched it on Twitch, and he offered to give Alex $5,000. And you know, instead of keeping the money, Alex donated the $5,000 to a children's hospital, and then he convinced his employer to match it for the donation, and the employer did. And then just came up today, Games Workshop for the ride of sportsmanship is also contributing $5,000 to the same cause. It's huge. That's a big deal. He started a big chain of good things, and that's when you say who won sportsmanship, you never know what sportsmanship, you know, like what's good, you know, how does someone win that? He was the one you can actually see of what sportsmanship was, not because he handed something out or he high-fived everyone at the end of the game or gave someone a piece of cake at the end of the game or bought a beer. It was a big, huge gesture. And then even after the fact, after he won and everything else, it became I don't know if Alex won. No, he failed, right?
No, he lost in the semifinals.
He did. That's my bad. He did lose.
He lost in the semifinals. The deep strike move basically cost him the game.
That's what it was. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. He wasn't
okay. that's cool. And he moved right along and still played the game. He could have got mad. He could have got angry. He could have, you know, tried to get the judge over there, plead his case. But he just kind of said, you know what? You're right. I didn't, you know, clarify. I moved it, you know, and he just went right on playing the game and had a joyful and cheerful time trying to play the game.
Yep.
And then
it was over, and he still tried to play it out. I thought that was really cool.
Yep. He knew the game was gone.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. He knew at that point, he was like, dang it. It was over for him. But, you know, he continued to play it, played like a champ. And I think that's, you know, gave his opponent the best game he could probably give him. And, you know, and then the good thing is, I think the awesome thing is that it came back to bite the other guy right in the butt in the next game.
Yes, yeah. It did.
It did.
God, that was such beautiful karma.
Yeah.
It was.
The guy even mentioned it. Well, because you screwed out, you know. So,
I mean, it just shows you what happens and how quickly word gets around and everything like that. So, you know, if you're a top table player, you know, you got to think about that. Is it may be worth winning the money, I guess, but at the same time, is it worth now you're a meme, insane,
well,
and not a good one.
The guy's Nick, right? The guy's name's Nick that did that.
Tony.
So, like, to be fair, I saw a message. Reese posted it in the ITC organizer group, and he did mention that, you know, the guy apologized for his actions, and he said he got caught up. He said we're all human. He got really caught up. He was really into the game, and I could see any of us possibly getting that, because if we're that close, you're gonna be like stressed. You're gonna be intense. You're gonna want to win that. You're this close to grasping it.
I mean, how many thousands of dollars were on the line?
It was like $3,000, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
that's a lot of money.
First place was 5.
Say what?
First place was 5,000.
Oh, 5,000. $5,000.
There you go.
That's a lot of money. And so, like, the guy apologized, and I do feel for the guy, because
but he's probably getting no publicity on his apology either, which kind of sucks.
I know, but well, I mean, everyone likes the negative more than the positive anyway, no matter what. So it's always funner to make fun than say, oh, well, that guy's a nice guy. But, you know, we're all human, right? We're all going to get that point where, you know, you're gonna let something get in front of your, you know, foresight. Now, however, Alex, that guy, he didn't. He there's two ways to approach it, right? Everyone's got a different personality, and everybody's got a different type. Where he was like, well, that's the game, you know, pretty much. He didn't, like TGC, didn't fight it. It was just kind of like, that's what it is. And he continued with it, and you know, good on him. And he ended up making that children's hospital $15,000 from all the donations. So
did TJ mention who else donated? Because he donated his 5,000. He donated, and then his employer another 5,000, and then was it GW that matched that donation again?
Yeah.
Yep.
GW
That's huge.
That just came out today. That GW, and they wrote this huge article about it, about, you know, the basically sportsmanship, and this is what it is, and, you know, the game is meant to have fun, and money is on the line, and it showed, you know, he showed that he didn't let the money get in the way. He remembered it was fun. He screwed up. He's gonna got a gotcha on the rule. It is what it is. But the guy could have quit. He could have been pissy. Could have been salty the game, but he didn't. He just played out. I think he accepted it immediately. You know, you're that high up, you're gonna have to. You know, you can complain or piss and moan, but you make it your way. But then now everyone's like, oh, he pissed and moaned for that, you know, and then that took 5-10 minutes and everything. So I think he played it right, and definitely did good for that children's hospital, right? So
Yep. Just like, oh, hey, Vanaroff. And then, that's what Gabe kind of points out. Yeah, kind of the feeling that, you know, the guy, Tony, didn't make an apology. And, you know, I mean, it's always that thing, man. The apology never has the same effect as the initial thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, because we're all humans, and, you know, we make mistakes. And when you're big enough to admit your mistake publicly, like, that's a big deal. That takes a lot of character.
Yep.
There's an awkward silence there, like nobody agreed with me or something.
No, I didn't
say more words. You said so few little words, like everyone had big sentences.
I didn't need to go on. It was very concise, and that was what I meant. It takes a lot of character to do that, and I give him credit for that.
Yep. I think Tony's a good. I've seen Tony play before, and he's a good guy too. So I think just like you said, everyone got caught up in that moment.
Sure, that's understandable. That's so understandable.
It is.
But I thought it was really, really cool how Alex maintained so much composure despite all of that. Like basically you're within arm's reach of $5,000, and then you screw up like something so stupid, so small, and you screw up on TV. And that dude is awesome.
Ben thinks we're laughing at him.
What?
Tyler Miller goes, I agree until Ben started talking.
So good.
Oh, God. Sorry. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I just read it like right when you're in the middle of talking, and it was good.
I was like, I didn't think I was being a dick to Alex. Like, I was trying to pay him credit too.
Oh God. Sorry, Ben.
Tyler, what was it I said? I want to know. Just anything I say is just instantly discredits me.
Whenever Ben opens his mouth, that's it. That's all 5 words. You said like 5 words. That's what.
Yeah. You know what, Gabe? To be honest with you, I think that's the mindset I have when I go play. Is that I am going to play a game, and I'm playing with little, as my wife calls them, little men. Not plastic toy soldiers. That's giving me far too much credit. We're talking about little men, so.
Hey, at least she calls them little men. My wife calls them whatever they look like. So she's like, "Oh, is that Turtle Man?" Oh, like the Lord of Skulls with the giant things on his back. She calls him Trash Can Man. She's like, "Oh, you
painted Nurgle, so he does kind of look like a giant trash can."
I guess
he looks like Oscar the Grouch.
That's what I'm saying. She just calls it whatever it looks like. So, Trash Can Man.
That's what you should do, man. You should just start say, yeah, I'm going to shoot with Trash Can Man when you start playing with stuff like that. Just whatever your wife names the units, that's what you should call them. Oh, God.
So we got some insight on the cafe.
Yes.
Not only the location for the Warhammer Cafe, but some of the details about it. So it's going to be in Grapevine, Texas, which happens to be 4 hours north of us, where we're all located, which is exciting. FMP road trip.
Yes.
And so some insight from a very credible source who may or may not work at another games workshop says that there will be 20 tables, a small Forge World, a Black Library, a cafe for coffee and drinks, and a Bugman's beer floor space, and normal GW product.
Awesome. Oh, Gabe's so lucky.
They're gonna have.
You know what Gabe said?
What did Gabe say?
10 minutes away. Family is 10 minutes away from there.
Oh, well, aren't you just lucky?
Lucky.
I just have one question. Who's the designated driver for that trip?
Oh man, we're just gonna crash. There's got to be a crash.
Oh, there is tons. By Grapevine Mills, there's tons of hotels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll be a crashing deal because there's going to be a lot of games to be had and a lot of drinks to be had. Because I had the luxury of actually going to the Bugman's bar in Warhammer World, and if it's anything like that, it's going to be absolutely fabulous. So hey, TJ, your jealousy showing.
Oh, that is jealousy.
So, dude, I was like a fanboy. I was like, and I bought everything. I was like, give me everything that's Warhammer exclusive. Like, only you can buy here. They're like, do you want other stuff? No. Here, the stuff you go and get here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm glad it's a Grapevine again. That used to be like a huge reseller. They used to have a huge GW battle bunker up there, and it did really well. So I'm glad it's back. So that's gonna be kind of cool. It's kind of centrally located, which is kind of cool. So
yeah, store is gonna be huge.
Yeah, If they do a tournament over a weekend or something, we're gonna have to go.
Oh yeah, no, I want to go grand opening. Why won't we go grand opening? You know they're gonna have something cool.
When's their grand opening?
They've only announced the location now.
Yeah, they're probably still working on it.
Yeah. Andre, you should just go to. You're closer to go to UK. Just go there, man.
Yeah, you're close to Warhammer World, man.
Yeah. Opening day road trip. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Think about it. If they're opening up a Games Workshop, right, and they always have these cool, like, only models to get from an opening store, could you imagine what they're going to be doing at basically Warhammer World here in the U.S.? That's our Warhammer World.
Yeah. I mean, this weekend there's the Webster Warhammer store supposedly is opening.
Correct.
Ooh.
No, it moved to March.
Did it move? No, the invite still says February 17th.
Nope, they moved. They changed the invite because
They did? When did they change it?
I don't know. I seen it and I clicked interested. Naomi liked it, so she seen me say I was interested. So just look at see if you can see my stuff. But yeah, it's and they moved it like March 20th, 22nd.
Okay, so it moved.
Yeah, it moved to next month.
Let's see what my events say now. Does it say? Yeah, March 18th now. Okay.
March 18th.
I guess I gotta wait. Well, I'd rather go there than any other store, that's going to be opening in March.
What store is that, TJ?
I don't know. What store is it, Jonathan? You know of any stores that are possibly opening maybe in Cyprus?
I do. An Atomic Hobby will be opening.
Oh, I guess we'll have to go there.
Wait, you turned Canadian, eh? You're going to have to go there, eh?
You guys are weird.
I know.
I like it.
You guys, you act like you're normal right now.
Oh, yeah. Ben's acting like, I'm so...
Right,
my scotch.
I don't understand what your Canadian accent is. I'm over here, normal American man.
I'm going to go drink my scotch. Single malt.
Yeah, single malt.
12 year.
Oh, man. Oh, I haven't smoked a cigar. Oh. Who am I?
Wow.
Who's that?
I love my job. I went and fixed somebody's computer today, and he's like, oh, yeah, I need some Windows updates. Okay, that's easy. I'm helping the guy out. Start talking about cigars. He's like, oh, here. Reaches into his bag, just hands me a cigar. He's like, I love these. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I get so much free stuff being IT. It's great.
Well, everyone wants to be on your good side.
But, well, they should be on my good side.
So when you find out that they're watching porn, you don't report them.
No, you just get the links.
That would be so awkward. I hope I never have to deal with that.
It's awkward, man. It's super weird.
It's very awkward looking at a dude after you've gone through his browser history and seen what he's been looking at.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh, no.
And you have to
report it. Hard to look people in the eye.
So it sucks because you have to report it because otherwise you'll get in trouble because they can see who's seen it. And so you have to report it. You don't really want to tattle, but you kind of report it because it's, yeah.
I'm not that high up on the food chain yet. I'm still sitting they would be looking at my browser history, and I'd be sitting there like, how to seem like a competent IT guy. That's my Google history.
Oh, Father Gabe, thank you. I appreciate it. We definitely were still on the market for a lot of terrain. We're building the tables now. We got one built. Very excited. So
yes, we have a table built now. We have our prototype done.
I know.
It's pretty exciting.
Did you put a mat on?
Terrain options.
I forgot the mat.
Oh, of course you did. That sounds like Ben.
What would Ben forget?
The mat. We were supposed to see if the mat fits into the table and see how snug it is or if there needs to be adjustments.
You didn't bring a mat up. Oh, wait, you weren't there. Oh.
Oh. I was there for a big part of the day.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. When you were.
I remember you leaving to go get pizza while I was sweating my face off, and I was like, literally kicking down walls and using my bare hands to pull stuff apart. That actually happened.
Did that happen?
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go get pizza, guys. I'll see you in a bit. And like 3 hours later, you come back and you're like, oh, hey.
Is that how?
Did he bring y'all pizza?
Is that how it went?
Did he bring y'all pizza?
Yeah, he brought some pizza, and he was like, So I ate most of this one, but there's a couple pieces left.
I brought 6 pizzas back.
And he brought hard cider.
And
At least he brought drinks back and food.
I brought Shinerbach too.
Oh, you did bring Shinerbach. I totally had a hard cider, but only because somebody was like, "Oh, I opened this and I don't want it because now there's Shinerbach."
That's funny.
However, you did try to use a regular bottle opener while I had an F&P bottle opener from LVO on my keychain.
Dude, I didn't know you had it.
I had to lay down the law. I was like, not in my store. No.
This is the only bottle opener given by F&P Wargamers graciously.
Maybe we should make Warhammer bottle openers.
Shape of a bolter.
Oh, dude.
No, not in the shape of bolter. Like maybe like an orc and his teeth are like the bottle opener and just.
Dude, but the bolter, I like the bolter one too. Like have it on bolter and like, what is that? Like it's a bottle opener. So.
Dude, I'm gonna start drafting up ideas.
Give it the banana clip. That way it count right up underneath the clip. Pop it right up.
Well, we need to get IP rights from GW first.
That's a good point. You might be onto something there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not. Probably not. Oh yeah, chainsword bottle opener that worked. And you click on it and it just pops it off. Dude.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a really great way to have a beer that tastes like glass.
Crunchy.
You just cut it right off.
just cut off the top of the bottle.
Yeah, a lightsaber one.
A lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's not Warhammer.
Yeah, it is.
It's Star Trek, dude. Come on.
Come on, dude.
Oh.
Yes, Felipe fell for it. I like it.
No, that was in Harry Potter.
Overdone.
You're a Jedi, Harry.
Come fly on the Enterprise with me.
Well, at least no. We have to stay on topic.
What was the big announcement? What was the big happy announcement that you're going to surprise me with? Surprise me.
The tables.
What tables?
The cafe. That was the announcement.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought it was something exciting.
Road trip? That's not a happy announcement to you?
Apparently not.
Oh, it's because he's still recovering from LVO because Jonathan snored so bad.
Oh, please.
Oh, no. I will be happy to go on a road trip with y'all. I'm just not sleeping in the same room as Jonathan.
Yes, agreed.
Whoa. First off, I have a recording of TJ snoring. And
I didn't hear Ben or John or anyone complain about my snoring.
Because
we had 3 people complain about you.
They were
probably because it was drowned out by Jonathan snoring. TJ's over there just gently snoring away, and Jonathan's his body's just fighting to stay alive.
Dude, I don't know why. Like Naomi says I'm good now. I asked. She's been checking, and she said when I came back from LVO that first night, it was bad. But she said after that I was fine. And I think it's because if I'm exhausted and drunk, it was a bad combination for me.
Is that what it is? I hadn't heard any studies where alcohol induced sleep apnea.
Hey, I'm just saying, man, you can say everything you want. I'm just saying go get it checked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, oh, well, peeing to the left. I can't really pee anymore. What? It only happens when I get drunk. So maybe it's just something to go look at, man. If you're, it's one of those things. Got this big lump on my shoulder, but it gets bigger when I get drunk. I'm not going to worry about it. Could be a tumor. It's okay, though. I don't drink, it doesn't get bigger.
Yeah, I've been having seizures lately, but it only happens when I get drunk, so it's like not really a big deal. Like Naomi said I was fine. Like I didn't have any seizures for the past week, so it's cool, right?
Father Gabe says he has a spare CPAP for me.
Give him one. I think he needs it.
God, I don't want one.
No, if you get a CPAP, it's got to look like a chaplain helmet, just all skulled out and badass.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I get the Eternal Joe.
I'll get a Bane.
Yeah, you'll sound like Bane.
You think I have sleep apnea? I was born in it, molded by it.
Oh God.
Oh man.
So much better if it was like Darth Vader. Just walk around. I am Jonathan.
Is that what I sound like? That's awesome.
I know, it totally is.
That's about accurate.
Well, so that's what I sound like to TJ. And to Ben, I say, so I got this pizza.
So you say, hey, sorry I missed you. Leave me a message and I'll call you right back.
That's why I see you call Ben. I'm like, nope.
I set myself up for that.
I think he does do that, Ben. I've seen the phone ring, he looks down and he sees you and he's just
kidding me?
picking that up.
I test him. I'll be like nearby and I'll call him and I'll just see him go. I get a text like, oh, hey, in an important meeting. He gets back on the GW store and he's just filling his cart.
All right, Dark Lighter. Thanks, man.
Yeah, catch you later, bro.
And
All right, now the Dark Lighter's leaving. Let's talk about Tau.
I want to talk about Thousand Suns, actually.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
Well, let's talk about Tau.
That sounds smart.
yeah, I like the Thousand Suns better. Ben, you're not important. Go ahead, TJ.
And pizza race.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about Tau. They're going to suck. Sorry, Ben.
Ooh.
Harsh. Actually, that brings up a question I've been wanting to ask. So everything has felt pretty competitive as it comes out lately, right? Like every army gets its own. What are you getting about? Did I miss something in chat?
Sorry. And you busted out with, well, that reminds me of something. All right, Ben. Yes. I think all the armies that are coming out have been pretty darn competitive. So
We'll take you serious like an adult. Ben. Go ahead.
All right, so everything is coming out feels pretty competitive. It's got its own feel. It's got its own stuff that's like pretty awesome, like Blood Angels wounding on +1 on the charge, stuff like that. That stuff's pretty major. What would you guys say? Does anything feel underpowered? Does anything feel like it can't compete, or that it needs a buff?
I think Tau should have a reverse penalty. So it's like a -1 to hit if the unit's like farther away from you, but as the units get closer, they get a +1 to hit.
Or you get to reroll your hits if you're eating sushi against Tau.
Ooh. House rule?
You have to take morale check if you're eating sushi. Right? They'd be scared.
Yeah, they'd be scared. They'd be like, oh my God, they're eating us.
No, but on a serious note, I honestly think AdMech, a lot of people are crying out for AdMech, missing a little bit of that love train.
Oh yeah, AdMech really needs to have right now. Guard has to back up your AdMech to be really good competitive. I mean, you need the Russes. Your walkers just really aren't up to snuff when you compare them to Russes.
Ooh, Father Gabe brought up a good one. All suits blow up like vehicles.
That'd be awesome.
On a 4-up.
Why?
On a 4-up, they do mortal wounds.
Right?
Yeah.
And they hurt all the other suits near them?
Yeah. I think, Jason brings up a good point. Yeah, I think AdMech right now, Grey Knights are two of the most non-competitive lists.
I want to bring 4 baby carriers. I just got 2 more and I want to play them.
Ooh, David's got a good point. Nah, David, man, that would make Space Marines far too good.
Space Marine Chapter Tactics should also be on vehicles like Guard and Eldar.
Can you imagine Imperial Fists?
Oh, God.
And with the ignoring cover?
No.
Predators are too ridiculous as it is. Like, Lascan, like, they don't need any buffs.
Yeah, with
if you do that, I will buy 2 more Fire Raptors and I will paint them Alpha Legion.
No. Space Marines, not Heresy people.
No, Space Marines are Alpha Legion is not Heresy.
Well, they're in the Chaos Codex right now.
They just happen to fall on that because they ran out of space in the Space Marine Codex.
Mm-hmm.
It's ironic because it's Space Marines, right?
Can you
And they ran
imagine
out of it for
how
Alpha.
much more powerful Ultramarines would be if vehicles could fall back and shoot?
Stop. You're
Yeah.
making
Oh, it's just like that meme where we're having a friendly conversation about chapters and the Ultramarine guys just come in and start pooping on themselves.
Oh, crap. I didn't even think about it. Jason's right. That the GK get hurt with the Smite beta rule.
Yep.
I didn't
They
even
do.
think
Rights
about
of banishment. Yep.
God, that sucks hard.
that shouldn't apply to them. It's only
It should like be Smite. Don't they have like something else Smite?
It's called Rights of Banishment. It's not actually Smite.
Look at, I like that song, Felipe. Thank you for playing that for me. He was playing the world's smallest violin. I don't know if you heard it.
I think Chaos should be nerfed hugely.
Oh God!
Like cultist units should only be able to take 10.
I think Dark
All
Angel
units are 10 or less. Yeah.
You said what? Dark Angels what?
should be in the Chaos Codex.
Aren't they?
Half of them are.
Yeah.
The fallen portion of it.
Look at TJ. Look at TJ. He's like, oh no, like I can play along. I'm not upset right now.
Oh no. I'm not like you, Ben. I don't go 0 to 50 when we're like Ben sucks and he's like, well, screw you guys, and I'm gonna hate y'all.
0 to butthurt, TJ. It's 0 to butthurt.
No, I don't mind the Dark Angel stuff. I mean, they're all mysterious, so it's just good fluff. I mean, the Alpha Legion, right? I mean, half of them say that half of them are actually fighting for the Emperor. The other half are fighting for Chaos. They don't know which side's which, and they're just kind of going along at it right now.
I love it.
Bro, just forgot what side I was on. That's all.
Yeah. Mono Codex list boosts, all detachments, Raven Guard equals new boost. Yeah. I mean, there's different ways of fixing stuff.
I like the mono. That's pretty, that's pretty good. The mono codex boost, like instead of doing that, soup seems to be the winning. So maybe a little bonus.
Yeah. Yeah, the Grey Knights do suck because the Grey Knights just aren't. I think they're and I think the Custodes armies are kind of designed to be a support role for an Imperium. You know, you take a small detachment of them and kind of boost them up and give you a little extra. But they're not designed by themselves to be competitive right now, to be a super competitive list build.
And honestly, Space Marines, the only competitive list you see with Space Marines are Ultramarines every single time.
Nope, Raven Guard.
Well, that's true. I've seen Raven Guard. I have seen Raven Guard.
You can build a pretty good competitive list, but Ultramarines are the king of the hill. They've always have been.
Who? Oh, Ultramarine, yeah.
They always have been.
And as long as Bobby G is the way he is now, it's going to be that way.
I mean, until the Lion comes out, and the Dark Angels will prove that, they're the biggest heretics in the world, and they'll just destroy all Imperium. It'll be fantastic.
TJ,
So,
you're saying that out loud.
oh, well, it could possibly happen. You never know.
I thought that was like your secret. Like you're like secretly chaos.
Oh, no. I've got a lot of secrets that I don't talk about.
And Tau won't be the Weeaboo army.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, Tau will probably come out. They won't really have any rules. They'll kind of just be they'll probably raise points more on the Riptides and, Storm Surges and
hopefully they do. I've got
raise points on suits and give them that exploding rule. That'll be awesome.
Dude, that would be but then you'd have suicide suits real quick. Flamers just deep strike in and then just try and get in and explode.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a good tactic.
I mean, if they're gonna blow up, like, you might as well just dive them right in. You get a chain reaction where one suit blows up, kills another suit next to it, it blows up. You just get a bunch of suits blown up. They kick ass.
Yeah. But in the chat, they're having a discussion on Grey Knights. I think Grey Knights, to be honest with you, they're not competitive. But if you built a list to fight a demon army, you're gonna kill it.
No. There's one strategy in the Chaos Demon army will play. And it's one command point. Guess what? You wiped out. It's back on the table.
Interesting.
Yep. But I mean, that's just one unit, though. So.
But you can use it on every unit.
Yeah, you have a 30-man squad or something.
Huh.
That's one unit.
Yep. But yeah, do you not? Yeah, Grey Knights, I think, and fluff wise, they're supposed to be competitive versus demons.
They're
They're supposed to be the greatest Space Marine chapter out there.
Yeah, but Ultramarines beat them out. You know.
I mean, that's what happens when you have a Primarch that comes back to your side. So, I mean, I guess we always kind of knew it was going to be blocked.
For all of the standard Space Marine Codex chapters, which Primarch would you like to see most come out next?
Standard Space Marine Codex chapter? Oh, that's easy. Rogaldorn.
Don't ask TJ. That's answered. That's already answered.
Jonathan? Felipe? What do you guys think?
I still want to go with Lionel Johnson because Chaos needs another Primarch.
No, I said...
He said standard Space Marine Codex.
Standard Space Marine Codex.
So, standard Space Marine Codex chapter. Which chapter do we want to have come back?
What chapter? No, get back. You go ahead and give me a second.
Who's in charge of Raven?
Father Gabe, Vulcan the Primarch.
Vulcan the Primarch.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Who's in charge of Raven Guard?
The guy whose name is basically just Crow. The Crow.
Corax.
Corax.
Yep.
Corvus Corax.
I want to see Corax.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Because we know the FMP chapter is their Primarch is not coming back.
Yeah. What do you mean? The FMP chapter is Ultramarine. What do you mean? I already got my Primarch.
Oh, you used to play him as Iron Hands.
I know.
His head got chopped up. Ben wants to see. Who do you want to see come back, Ben?
Take a guess. Which Primarch do you think I want to see most?
Is it Vulcan?
I mean, I would go Salamanders just for the fact that that's the army you have painted. And you could plug them right in. And you already have them painted anyways.
I do have a painted Vulcan. It's really good.
Yeah. So you'd be good to
honest, my white scars are so few that you can't even call them an army. It's more of like a couple squads, like 2 squads. That's all the white scars I actually have. So
I guess maybe like a single. Are these like characters? So it's like 2 squads is 2 models, like as character models.
Oh no, I can't make a patrol. I don't have any characters in there.
Wow.
Not yet.
The 11th Legion, the female Space Marines. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Jason wanted the con. I can't believe Ben didn't go for that one either.
I was waiting to see if you'd suggest it. I would be really interested to see that. But I am such a huge Salamanders fan that I would totally take Vulcan.
Well, of course you're a Salamanders fan. It's because they're painted.
Yeah, they are painted.
Howling Griffin.
TJ, I live like 2 minutes away from you. When can I come get the next Salamanders book?
I'm home all the time. You just got to text me and be like, hey, can I swing by? I'll be like, sure.
Okay. I'm going to have to do that like tomorrow-ish. Well, no, I got plans.
If you don't have a date with Jack again, then swing by anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
100%.
100%. How is that date going with Jack?
Well, I mean, I've got plans tomorrow.
Nice.
What? Okay, so who brings the flowers in this? Do you bring the flowers or does he?
Well, he's the big, strong, he's jacked.
Oh, okay. Jack is jacked.
Yeah.
So he brings the flowers.
It would be really awkward if he was watching this right now.
Vulcan most likely. Yeah, people. I think the majority of people want to see Vulcan back.
Vulcan would be really cool. It'd be really kick-ass to have Vulcan.
He would. I mean, Did Felipe say he wants back? Is he still waiting?
Howling Griffins, but I don't think there's somebody for them, is there?
Howling Griffins is in the chapter.
Yeah.
Did you say flock of seagulls? What'd you say?
Howling Griffins.
Oh, I don't know.
Aren't they Ultramarines?
I don't think they were.
I thought Howling Griffins were Ultramarines. Let's look.
Google.
No, it is. It is.
Well, they got their Primarch back.
Yay, Felipe, you win.
Felipe wins.
Wait, what did he say? I'm sorry. I missed it.
Oh, he wanted the Howling Griffins, but they're not a founding chapter. They're actually they're a Ultramarines successor chapter. So they have their band.
It seems like Russ and Vulcan are the most popular pick out of the group chat for sure.
People want to see Russ. I mean, just the whole Space Wolf Russ thing is freaking awesome.
I mean, there is a tank named after him, so that's pretty cool.
It would be really cool. I would probably get Space Wolves.
There's a tank named after Typhus though, so that's pretty badass.
Is there?
What is it? The poo shooter?
The Typhon?
Typhon?
Blighter?
Was it like a poop shooter or something?
It's
Typhon?
The 30K one when he was Callus Typhon before he went to Typhus.
That wasn't named after him, dude.
That was, yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It was the Typhon tank. Yes, it was.
It wasn't named after.
What's 30K?
It's a number. And a letter.
Yeah! Teamwork.
It's less than 40K.
Ooh. Well, they're still playing 7th, aren't they?
Hey, would anybody actually would people want to see us play a 30K game? I mean, I technically have a 30K army, so
I do too.
So like, you guys want to see us play a 30K army or a 30K game? Like, totally chime in. Let us know.
Oh God, sounds painful.
Yeah, because now I got to play 7th edition rules.
Well, I have to relearn them, so.
I thought Ford Control put out new rules for 30K.
7.5.
It's like 7.5. Because they're not going to rewrite every single big book to give them a new stat line.
Yeah, you need templates still, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh man, what did I do with my template? I had the red ones from the new set.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just. Templates. I don't see anybody really asking us to play 30K, which is probably a good thing. Hopefully nobody was actually paying attention when I offered that.
Father Gabe's like, heck yeah.
I think he was cheering for templates.
Oh.
I honestly think when it comes to like playing 30K, it'd be good. But I mean, to be honest with you, we're gonna make so many rule mistakes.
Yeah, it'd be pretty brutal. That'd have to be like a
people are like
warp kind of thing.
Yeah. We could pretty much pull people off the street and be like, here, try to play this and get the same quality probably.
Dude, what if we had a special section where it's just like, here's your first game of Warhammer, and we just film it. Like 6 hours for a 500 point versus 500 point game.
Dude, I mean, there's no way y'all could play a 2K game. Y'all would have to play like maybe 1,000 points to just remember the rule set.
God, I'd probably be so bitter the whole time I'm playing. Because I'm like, I hate this.
No, I think it'd be interesting because you are playing, you're playing 2 30K armies. And so, you're fighting Space Marines for Space Marines. So, you're kind of counteracting each other. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. And then if y'all played a scenario, it would definitely make it a lot funner. 2,500 points.
Standard for Horse Heresy.
Oh, God.
Whew. All right. Statement retracted. Nope.
We'll have to try it out one time.
We'll have to try it out. But you know what else we have to try out? Pokemon Battle. I still want to challenge you to a Pokemon game.
I have no Pokemon. I don't have
Pokemon cards. I've got Pokemon cards.
Dude, I got Pokemon cards, but I don't have a deck. I don't even know how to play anymore.
I'll bet you, if you put your mind to it, you could make a very overpowered Pokemon deck.
Oh, yeah, you would need cards, but I'm not going to get cards. Plus, the cards I have are probably so old. I had them since I was 12.
Oh, we play what? Vintage? Is that technically vintage? I've got all mine are vintage too. I've got some Charizards on me.
Ben, do you really want to expose yourself to that? You know how bitter you're going to be when you lose to Jonathan again?
Yeah, it's going to bring back old memories, man.
What's the difference? I lose to him anyway every other time.
Oh, God. I'm not going to watch that game.
We're going to play Magic again.
Yeah, we are going to have to play Magic because we're going to be playing it up at the shop. So we're going to... I got 20 decks,
When I realized I had to start playing Magic again, I was like, it was almost on the same level as if someone was like, hey, you know, you're going to have to start smoking cigarettes again, right? Like, you know that that's a thing. And I was just like, oh, God, I thought it was done. I thought I was free of that.
Hey, by the way, you have 4 more years in the military.
But there was another part of me that was like, oh, I can brew again. I can play Magic. Oh, and it was like that inner demon. Just like, yes.
Did you hear him say brew? He meant to say brood when I would beat him. So every game we would play, this is how it happened. Let's play one more game, and then I'm going to leave.
I'm pretty sure we lived together at that point.
Yeah. Well,
where did I go? Did I go to the park and cry?
Go to the park and cry. Jeez, man.
That offended TJ a lot.
No, I mean, it's like it's so sad that I could actually see you doing that.
I feel like it's real.
Why do you think that came to mind so quickly? Because I probably did it at least a handful of times. I mean,
you probably did. I can see Ben curling up in a ball and crying because Jonathan beat him at Magic.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. It was bad. So the worst part was when I would play like 2 against me and I would still win. That was the bad part.
That wasn't bad. That just showed who had spent more money.
I spent more time.
Like, so I'll remind everyone, since I was, in the military, and Jonathan was like halfway in the military because he just like, oh, hey, so I got an appointment today. Now I'm going to go home. And everybody's like, okay, whatever, bye. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do my job because I'm an idiot. And I do my job today, and I get home, and Jonathan's like, I made 6 new decks because I've been here since noon. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. Jonathan does that a lot, where he'll play a game, and if he get better at it, he kind of quits.
Jonathan quits?
Yeah. Because he got me playing Hearthstone, right? And then all of a sudden, I started getting better, and I started beating him every single time we played. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do anymore. It's too much, to keep track of now." And he just stopped playing.
I stopped playing because I was playing it for like a year before you got on it.
I'm sorry. Hey, you're kind of breaking up. I didn't get to hear your excuse very well.
That's good. Everyone's actually saying to film Commander or EDH. That seems like the big thing now.
What is?
Commander or EDH games for Magic. People want to see it filmed.
Tyler, you were correct. Innistrad was amazing. Innistrad was my jam.
What was the one with all the the hurt yourself stuff, like the negative stuff? What was that? Was that they had that really cool fluff.
Phyrexian. Oh, that was my favorite fluff, dude.
That was my favorite.
Of any fluff I've ever fluffed, that was my favorite.
I do like the art. Do you know there's like a lot of people on my friends list on Facebook I didn't even know are artists for that? And they're posting up like their submissions and like they got accepted and which ones they got their card on and stuff. So it's pretty cool to still see all the artists.
Dude, yeah. The Praetors. Oh, dude. That Phyrexia was so cool. I would love for that. If they brought Phyrexia back, even if I wasn't buying Game Store, I would absolutely start playing Magic again just with Phyrexia.
Look at how interested TJ is.
Hey, TJ, want to play Magic with us?
No.
Hey, TJ, want to play Pokemon with us?
No.
TJ, want to play checkers with us?
I'll play checkers with you.
What about Monopoly? I love Monopoly.
No, I'm not playing your ass in Monopoly, no.
Yeah, Jonathan seems like he'd cheat.
I don't.
Well, absolutely. One, Jonathan would cheat. 2, Jonathan has probably already researched the best scientific strategy for Monopoly. And 3, even though losing a Monopoly sucks, can you imagine Jonathan's stupid face when you landed on his boardwalk that he's been waiting for you all game? Just
boardwalk.
Oh God!
I know how to make a Monopoly game into the one thing that will get you hated the most by everyone playing with you. I know the way to make that game just make people hate you for it.
See Jonathan playing Monopoly, I think Felipe would be the same way. They just start making up rules.
No. There is very specific tactic to Monopoly that you play it, you follow that tactic, and you will win, and everyone will hate you for it eternally.
I refuse to play Monopoly on the off chance I were to land on one of Jonathan's spaces because I will never give him that satisfaction.
No, you just burn a command point reroll.
Didn't we play Monopoly once? I feel like we did.
It's not completely unreasonable to say we did. I'd say that unlikely.
I feel like one time that you wouldn't trade me properties because of me. But I think Justin was playing and you traded with him.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah.
There's still this like magic bitterness that carries over to other games we play.
That's every game we play. Even in role playing. Our role playing game.
All right, now everybody click on TJ and zoom into what he's reading.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't like this talk about Pokemons.
No, I'm reading the fluff, man. I want to, got the codex. I want to read the fluff. There's a lot of stuff you don't know about that they release in the Adeptus Custodes book, like fluff-wise. It's exciting.
I'm guilty. I'm back in 2nd and 3rd edition. I would read those books. As soon as I got it from cover to cover, all the fluff and everything. This edition, straight to the rules, straight to the data slate, straight to the points costs. I just haven't been able to read the fluff since.
You killed your childhood. Now you're all about the meat and potatoes.
Yep.
You crazy.
Right. Well,
well, that awkward silence, that's our signal to end the feed.
Yeah, it usually is.
Things to joke about.
It is.
I mean, we're talking about Pokemon and Magic. I have no clue anything about any of those games. Never played them. I've never played card games. So
be glad. Be glad. It's a cancer, and it takes hold of you, and it will never let you go.
Yeah,
this is true.
I can't wait till Jonathan has HeroClix up the shop. Excited about that.
I couldn't get with the vendor. They didn't answer the one phone call, so I'm going to assume their phone's dead. So we're probably not going to get HeroClix, unfortunately. Yeah.
You think the one guy was just out to lunch when you called?
No, I think they're closed forever. I'm just going to assume that.
Battlefront, Flames of War. Flames of War is actually decent.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that do the bolt action Flames of War kind of thing.
There's a group that plays near the shop that you're open.
I am interested in those Kingdoms of Death models.
Kings of War?
Kingdoms of
Death.
Kingdoms of Death, right?
I think it's Kingdom.
Kingdom of Death?
Kingdom.
No, the thing with like the big giant like titty monster.
Slanesh?
You know what I'm talking about? There's like these cool monsters. They're like one of them has like a cloak and like it's nothing but a bunch of like children's arms coming out from it, and it's got like a doll face. Like, dude, they're terrifying monsters, like nightmarish creatures.
Titty monster, wow, Jesus Christ, John.
That's all he cares about is the titty monster now.
Well, he's fixated on it.
Is he Googling furiously?
I'm looking up titty monster. It's not coming up with any good searches.
It's probably a poor decision there, TJ.
Maybe just Kingdom Death. Kingdom Death, is that what it is?
Kingdom of Death titty monster.
Yep, that's what it is. Kingdom Death right there. Yep, there's titty monster.
Kingdom.
There's a frog that's like, yeah, dude, some of these things are just ridiculous. The models are phenomenal. Say what?
Is it a Gripply?
It's not a Gripply, no.
No.
Anyway, they're just called Kingdom Death. But anyways, we are winding down, and we appreciate everyone who stayed tuned and listened, and we appreciate you guys sticking on, listen to us ramble and talk about other things for probably about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we did stay on topic like usual. People are still chatting, talking, I guess, about the. It's called the Nursemaid. There you go. You can Google that one, TJ. The Nursemaid.
No, I looked up Titty Monster. I looked up Kingdom of Death Titty Monster, and it's like this big blob thing that's got like 20 boobies on her.
Yeah, the 20 booby monster.
Yeah, it's like boobies on this side, boobies on this side.
Yeah.
And she's kind of fat and gross. I was thinking she was like hot with all kinds of boobies, like Slanesh, but nah. Totally ruined my ideal. So sad now. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, but is Slanesh really? Really?
You don't like 30-foot long blades?
Yeah, I think that's the part that kills it for me.
Oh. Well, to each his own. Wuss.
So, anyway, as always, we appreciate our Patreon supporters. We do have Tyler. We appreciate you, man. Brent as well. And as also who was part of the chat was Darklighter.
Yep.
We do have 3 Patreon supporters. And if you'd like to be Patreon supporters, you can check us out on Patreon on FMP Wargamers. And we'll give a shout out to you guys at the end of every video, as well as the battle reports as well. We'll add a little list of you guys for all the Patreon supporters, because without you guys, you totally help us be able to keep the webpage going and everything like that, because that helps pay for it. And again, guys, appreciate everyone staying tuned. Anyone else have any final things to say?
No, I appreciate it, guys. Love all you guys. I love chatting with y'all, and I'm glad we can do this all the time.
Yep.
See. Yeah, I can't really think of anything except for that I'm going to pwn Jonathan in Pokemon sometime, and I want everyone to see it so badly.
I knew he was trying to think of something witty.
I was trying to think of if I had anything important, and since I didn't, I just called you out again.
It became a sad day for Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jonathan on the. I think I'll just put my money on Jonathan winning that game.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I would put my money on whoever paid to use one of my decks.
He is way too confident. I'm not playing him. No.
All right, guys. Everyone have a good night. Thanks for staying tuned.
See y'all.